Alright, I didn't want to make this video without first giving the First Descendant a run. I had to put the time in, and I think that I have. I don't know exactly how many hours I played, but the game is just not it. It's not for me. After playing it, I realized it's a lot like Warframe in many ways. Now, I'm going to explain to you the pros and cons of this game from my perspective and tell you why it's just not a game for me. And I don't know if a lot of you feel me or not, or if you agree with me or not, because it seems like there's a lot of people playing this game right now. It's in the top 3 of games being played on Steam, and people just seem to be hooked to it. Now, I've come fresh off of Elden Ring. I'm actually not finished with Elden Ring. The new patch, Shadow of the Erdtree, is very addictive. It's a very great patch, and I'm not done making content for it. The reason why I started playing the First Descendant is because I said I would see if it's a game that I would put on my channel. I've come to this conclusion. Nah, it's not it. Let me explain to you why it's not for me. I was going back and forth of whether or not I wanted to make content on this, because normally when I have a problem with a game or if I'm not interested in one, I would honestly voice my opinion in making a video about it like I'm doing right now. For the First Descendant, I was thinking in my head like, well, let me give it a shot. It's not really about me. Let me stop acting like this, because you got to make content. You got to get these views. It's not all the way about you. So go ahead and just make the content if you don't fully like the game. So I was going back and forth with myself, trying to figure out if I wanted to do that or just make a video like this. And I came to this conclusion, because at the end of the day, I feel like you have to follow your heart. You have to do what's best for you. Anyways, the game, it reminds me of Warframe. And the tower reminds me of like Destiny a little bit, but overall the game reminds me of Warframe. And Warframe, when I first played that, I couldn't get into it simply because, first of all, there's no story. There is a story, but it's not engaging enough at all. It's to the point where I skip every cutscene except for the one where that guy was teleporting like Jumper and fighting those robots. That was a dope scene. But anyways, I have zero interest in the story at all. It doesn't grab me. It's like they give you these redundant missions to do. You're a descendant and you have to go on this everlasting battle with these aliens or whatever. I don't even know what the story is about, because I'm the type of guy who appreciates lore. I appreciate structure in a game. And I think that nowadays games aren't like they used to be. Games like the First Descendant and Warframe are in a certain category that only serve the purposes of satisfying some dopamine. Because the whole gameplay loop for the First Descendant is that you grind and you have a certain small percentage or large percentage of getting certain items that you need to unlock weapons or certain descendants. You have to do these void intercept battles, and at the end of it, it'll give you a choice to select which you want to have the chance to unlock. It's RNG based, and if you get lucky, you'll get that piece. Then you have to grind for another piece. So there are like 4 pieces of something that you have to grind for in order to get said weapon. On top of that, if you don't want to grind, you could simply buy a descendant. You can't buy everything, but you can get the jump on the game and buy certain descendants that you want. Like I purchased Kyle because I just wanted to see how he played. And I looked at everything that I had to do in order to unlock him, and I just wasn't willing to do that. You know what I mean? I wanted to play with him. And I think that's one of the reasons why this game is free to play, which is why I'm not really giving it such a hard review, because they're not making you pay for the game, but they're giving you the option to buy whatever you want pretty much with real money. And there are people who spend a lot of money in this game. There are people who grind to the ends of the earth to get everything they need, like the ultimate descendants. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I can't finish this. I got all the way to the White Gulch, I think, map, and I was pretty much done. Shout out to Redline718 for helping me run through this. He actually is really into this, and he found a way to make a healer build with 𝐿. People were saying that 𝐿 is not even high ranked in the tiers, like he's like D tier or something like that, because he can't really heal himself. He can only heal his teammates. But he actually made a DPS build with him where he can clear full battlefields, and he made a healer build where he went full AFK and avoid intercept battle hard without even fighting, just to prove that 𝐿 is OP. Anyways, he's been helping me run through the campaign, if that's what you want to call it. And like I said, it's just an infinite loop of missions to grind for certain weapons to do the same thing over and over again. Now, I've looked at some of these videos in YouTube where people are saying, oh, use this build to melt the boss in 10 seconds. And I see the clip on hard solo, you're melting this boss in less than 10 seconds. So that's not appealing to me. There's absolutely no challenge to it, especially when you're running through the missions in these campaigns. You could easily join somebody while they're in the middle of the mission that you want to do, and they'll run through it. Sometimes you don't even have to shoot, not to mention Bunny, how OP she is for just clearing mobs. All she does is run through the battlefield, activate her skill, and they just get destroyed with one pulse of her electricity from her running. And I said, dang, did I even get a chance to shoot anybody? So it like forces you to play with this super meta character for farming, first of all. And then when you get to these special missions where you actually have to either do a private or public matchmaking. And when you do the public matchmaking, it teams you up with players who are usually higher level than you, and then they just run through everything. So in a nutshell, the game, it doesn't really challenge me in a way that makes me want to try and complete the mission. And I'm not even capping here. I was falling asleep on a lot of this stuff because it's just mind numbing. And I'm talking about mind numbing from all different aspects. The story, the gameplay, I don't know. I couldn't do it. Personally, I just couldn't. I see people playing this game like it's the next best thing, and I don't see what they see, you know? One thing I will say, they do have not so much of an intricate building system. It's like you put together certain modules for your character. Those are like mods to cater to a certain playstyle. So if you want to have a character that has super low cooldowns, like for example, Blair has this ultimate that he does where he throws this big fireball and it ignites the battlefield with a whole bunch of fire. Then you could throw more fire down. So then enemies just get destroyed with your AoE attack. And you can build that character around these modules that give you cooldown speed. So then you can spam this ultimate every 7 seconds, right? And it's like no challenge. So you see somebody doing that, right? And you're like, oh, I want that. And then you spend hours and hours grinding to get that build. Once you get that build, you can conquer anything in the game pretty much, except for the last 2 bosses, because there's literally a mechanic in the game where you can't solo it. But for everything else, you just steamroll through all of it. And that right there is not appealing to me. That's my take on the game. I want to know what you think about it down below in the comment section, because most of the people that I've spoken to, with the exception of my friend in real life, says that the game is the next best thing. They love it. And I just don't get it. I don't see it. I guess this is a genre of game that appeals to a certain audience, and it just doesn't appeal to me. I need more structure. I need more lore. I need an actual story that connects to something in the gameplay that makes me want to actually go here to this map or look at the environmental storytelling. And there's nothing that allows me to do that in the First Descendant. I'm going to stop rambling on. I just felt that I had to bring this out for people who've been asking me to make content about this game. This is the content that I'm making. I'm not going to upload a video about the First Descendant. I was thinking about making a Blair build, but I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm just not interested in it. Probably going to go back to making Elden Ring content because I'm really into that. I feel like I wasn't finished with that. And I'm also waiting on Black Myth Wukong. That's going to be an awesome game. But as far as the First Descendant, I think this will be the last video that I'm making about it. Let me know what you think about this video, and also if you're enjoying the game and just your take on it in general. If you like this conversation and like the video, I appreciate you watching to the end, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And if you want to check out any of the videos I've been working on, then click this video right here. And I'll see you in the next one, fam. Be right out.